Hi guys, welcome back to Hear Me Out. I am your beautiful host Shamiso, and I'm so excited right now. I am with Sarah. I usually don't say people's surnames just in case I mess them up, but I'm with Sarah, and we are gonna be talking about relationships, mental health, all these things, therapists, EFTs. She's going everything. I'm too excited. Let's get it. Hi Sarah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. As you can see, I'm excited. Let me calm down. Okay.
I love it. No, you don't need to. Be excited.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. That's yes, I should be excited because I am very excited. Like backstory for me personally, I have just been like in love with therapists, with therapy. I've gone to therapy before. But like just discovering a new world of like where different therapists focus on different things. And right now I'm
Mhm.
looking at your Instagram page and you're an emotionally focused therapist. And on
Yeah.
your bio it says you're here to help make sense of trauma, emotions, and relationships. And
Mhm.
my question is for you. We're just gonna go deep dive into it. How do you deal with those things when you are in a relationship or when you've experienced trauma and you're trying to figure out your emotions within a relationship or outside of a relationship, friendship, whatever? How do you, this is just go ahead, I'm listening. Yeah.
All right. So, do you mean like how do I help people work through it,
how
or
do
how do I do
how,
it?
how can I deal with it when I am going through something
Okay.
and I have to deal with my trauma, my emotions, your emotions, the person's emotions, and also the relationship within itself? How do you deal with those things in a healthy way? What coping mechanisms can we use to just become better and for it to not become an unhealthy cycle? Um,
Mhm.
please give us therapy right
All
now.
right. So you're hitting it on the nail right there when you said for it not to become an unhealthy cycle. All right, because that's the key is actually understanding why it's unhealthy, what's going on within each person, right, beneath the surface that's showing up. And what we call in emotionally focused therapy is protection. And so our own internal, right, fear and sadness and um, shame and all the emotions that are happening, sorry, inside of us are showing up on the surface as frustration and anger. And that's actually our protection. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we're getting stuck in unhealthy cycles, is because we're afraid to let people in on what's going on for us internally, because we don't think that they're actually going to care about that. But we care so much about the other person that we have to engage somehow, right? We're not just going to totally tune them out, or we will, right? We might totally withdraw and tune them out.
Yeah.
But we end up getting caught in exactly what you said. We get caught in negative cycles in our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And then trauma comes in, because the more trauma we've experienced, the more dangerous the world feels, the more threatening other people feel. And so we're definitely not going to let them in on what's happening for us internally, because that's not safe. Does that make sense?
Yes. Why do I want to cry? You just hit a spot somewhere. I want to my makeup is I'm gonna start crying. I don't know why. I want to cry right now. Okay.
I get it.
Oh, okay, this is where we're going. Okay. I think for me, we're gonna be personal on this thing.
You
Oh,
are meeting a therapist,
I
so
did also. Why did I do this? I think we should stop. No, we shouldn't. This is amazing. With tears in my eyes. Oh my gosh. I think like I don't know what you said, but there's something that you said that like that hit a nerve where I was like, oh, is that why sometimes like I found myself really frustrated in this time? Like I've moved to the UK for university. I literally just finished my second year. And there was a point a couple of weeks ago. I always say I don't like cooking, but I find it doesn't give me as much joy than cleaning does. Anyway, that's not the point. But like I was so frustrated with things that were not working out that I decided to bake scones because I was like, if I talk about this, I'm gonna hear a lot of judgment. I'm going to hear a lot of criticism. I don't feel safe right now. I don't know anyone around me. So I think for a very like long period of time, I genuinely was not talking about that I wasn't okay. But my frustration was screaming. My busyness was screaming. My anxiety, it was screaming. Like, and that's what you mean by like, we don't feel okay, but we don't say it and we don't feel safe. Like, gosh, like,
yeah. And so it comes out. And so it's funny because you said, you know, what coping skills should we use?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. No one needs to teach us coping skills. We've got them.
Yeah.
Right. Saying I keep myself busy. I get frustrated. I have anxiety. Those are all how your body copes. Mm-hmm. Because internally it's saying I have no one to share what's going on with me. No one is safe. No one is actually going to hear my experience. Mm-hmm. And guess what? That's why therapists have jobs, is because we're saying, hey, I'll hear your experience.
Yeah.
I'll make time for you. I'll make room for your sadness and your pain. But what we should be doing that is doing that with each other. That's what families should be for. That's what friends should be for. Is to just make room and space for each other's experiences and to comfort each other in those places.
Okay, guys, the interview's over. I'm done. I'm going to break down right now. My makeup. We got 40. I don't know what else this interview is going to unearth. But like what you just said is like making room. Wow, this is so good. We're not even an hour into this and mind blown. But like what you're saying, making room for the experiences, like because I think sometimes for me, I'll speak on my behalf. I can never speak on anyone else's behalf, but sometimes like I just want to fix things. Like I just want to get things done. I just want to get things sorted. I'm a phenomenal woman. I want to, let's do something about this, but actually making room, like to be like, I'll sit with someone else and just be a part of your experience. Not that I'll ever know or understand, but to just sit with you and know that like you're not alone, and know that like no matter what, I'm still here with you. Like I'm sitting here. And I think sometimes that's all we need. Do you think like as children, if we're abandoned, or if we have or if we don't have a parent that's been there for us, like our attachment issues, what is it called? Attachment theory? Theory? Yes.
Attachment.
Is that why like we developed those type of things? Because when we were children, we experience a lack of, should I be a therapist?
I need to be a therapist.
We'll see. Oh, but no, I prefer business. Sorry, nothing's. I'm good. Never mind. I'm good. So like, please, can you tell us about the different attachment theories? And if you want to tell us, if this is not too personal, where do you lie in the attachment theories? Like,
and the styles?
Attachment styles. There we go. Why am I saying theories? Thinking about business too much.
Well, attachment theory encompasses all the styles. It's like the theory behind it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you said something really big though. You said when we're abandoned as children, or when we have experiences that we can label as trauma, right? When we experience trauma, and if we don't experience repair after we've experienced trauma, when we don't experience one hearing our experience, comforting us, being there for us, right? If we don't have that opportunity, then what trauma says is that you're alone and you're always going to be alone. And so then we don't trust that people will be there for us when we're hurting or we're in pain. Does that make sense? And so then that's where the attachment styles show up, because it says, okay, well, I'm in fight or flight. I'm in pain. Something's going on for me. And what do I do? I can't go to people because I don't trust that they're going to actually comfort me. And so then it shows up in another style, or another kind of coping mechanism is you can show up as anxious. You can show up as avoidant, or if your trauma, typically when people have high levels of trauma, it can show up as what they term disorganized. And it's actually just a combination of both. It's like you vacillate between avoidant and anxious. You'll try out avoiding, and then, but it's the style where you hear people say like, I love you, and the next minute I hate you. Right? It's like both show up at the same time, because it's really confusing internally, because the person's saying, I need someone, but I have no idea how to actually get the comforting response that I'm looking for, because I've never gotten that in my life. And so the fourth attachment style is the secure attachment style. And that's typically seen naturally. Everyone can get to a secure attachment style. Even if you've had trauma, you can shift it. You're not stuck. But we often see secure attachment style in people who have low levels of trauma, or if they've had trauma, they've had repair after the trauma. And so they still trust that the world is a safe place and that people are there to be there for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What's your attachment style?
I go toward anxious the most. And so then if we want to kind of, that bleeds us into emotionally focused therapy, because they learned attachment styles with children. And that's what for a long time people thought, like you only needed an attachment figure if you were a child. But Sue Johnson came along, and she's the one who developed emotionally focused therapy. And she started listening to her recordings of a ton of her therapy sessions with couples. And she realized attachment doesn't end in childhood. It continues. We become attached to our partner or to whoever we're with, right? In this relationship. And so what she ended up noticing is that there's two dominant ways that we interact when we don't feel safe, when we don't feel like we can show up in our vulnerability. And that's either as a pursuer or as a withdrawer. And that almost mimics the anxious and the avoidant. We pursue, right? We have that anxiety, and it tells us, if the relationship doesn't feel okay, I need to pursue. I need to make things right, because I feel so much discomfort when we're not connected. But then the withdrawer says, if I feel discomfort when we're not connected, I need to go away. I need to just calm myself down and get okay on my own, because I've never trusted that it's okay to go to someone else to feel that comfort, to feel that soothing. But the anxious person, or the pursuer, they say, I have to go to someone. I have to let you know what's going on with me, and therefore we can be okay. Does that make sense?
I am pursuer.
Yeah.
That's all I know. I think, I'm going to tell you, even my friendships right now, I'm going to tell you, you're going to know, you're not gonna be in the dark. Like, I'm just gonna let you, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I was thinking, whatever. So like for me personally, like how do I not stop being that? Like not stop me. Yeah, like how do I repair that? I'm being anxious. Is it anxious?
Yeah, an anxious pursuer. We'll call
Anxious
it.
pursuer. I just thought
Yep.
I was thirsty or something, or just that like I liked guys or whatever when I would do that stuff like that. I don't know. It's just anxiety.
Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely anxiety, because what it does is when we pursue, it lowers our level of anxiety, because it's like a semblance of connection. It's like, okay, I'm letting you know what's going on for me. Then maybe you'll come back out, right? Maybe you'll give me something and then I'll feel a little bit better.
Why is that me? I really do that. I do that with all my friends. Like I reach out, like I'm always reaching out, and I've gotten to a point where I'm kind of, I love you friends. If you're watching this, I love all of you. I'm kind of getting exhausted being the one that pursues.
Yes. And that's called a burnt out pursuer. And then you end up using, it's a burnt out pursuer.
I am burnt out.
Yeah. And then you end up actually flipping and just using the other style, which is withdrawing. So you're like, I don't need anyone. I can do it on my own. I'm fine.
Okay. I'm withdrawing now, but I'm not like, I don't need anyone. I'm just like, I'm good by myself right now.
Yeah. Which is one and the same.
Oh, so I'm doing, okay. How do I get help? This is my help. Okay, I need help because I thought I was fine. I guess I'm not. Like genuinely, because I'm just like, wait, this is me right now. Like
it's everyone, not just you. It's everyone. In 80% of the relationships that we see, the female is going to be the pursuer. In heterosexual relationships, the female will often be the pursuer, the male will be the withdrawer. But it's cultural, right? It's what we've learned in society. It's for women, it's often more safe to show their emotions. And for men, it's very dangerous to show their emotions.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're not supposed to be afraid. They're not supposed to be sad, according to our culture.
Yeah.
And so you're like most women. When you're hurt, right, or something's going on for you, your instinct is to let them know what's going on for you.
Oh, but like I'm tired of that though. I want someone to like talk to me, ask me questions. Like I don't want to pursue.
Yeah.
How do I like help is what I'm saying. You're the therapist. I'm just a girl.
So what we want to get to is, we actually remember it's all about safety and being vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And so there's no harm in pursuing. What's happening is that if you're pursuing and you're not getting the response that you're looking for, that's the place that you're saying, well, then I'm done. I'm not going to pursue anymore. I'm going to just withdraw. Does that fit?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's a good reason that we're often not getting the response that we're looking for. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with pursuing. Okay. Pursuing is your way of connecting, your way of reaching for that person. Mm-hmm. The question is are you pursuing in a way that's showing up as blaming them, attacking them, and accusing them? Or are you pursuing in a way that's being vulnerable and sharing your hurt and your pain and your sadness to draw them towards you, to actually bring that comfort that you're looking for?
Hi guys, this is Karen Shami editing the recording. I've come to disturb your viewing of me almost just going through the motions of the conversation. But most of the conversation is going to be cut out, and there was a significant amount of time that we took on just personally me having my own personal therapy session that I don't feel ready to talk about right now. But in the future, I'll talk about it. Of course I have to talk about it. Where else would I talk about it? But like right now, as I'm still going through the motions of it, I don't feel okay talking about a situation or how I'm feeling when I'm still in the thick of it. Anyway, so one thing I learned from this and that I'm learning now and even today is that there were situations where I was out of a friendship or something, and I started to pursue, like, to try fix the friendship. I and I think that's where I started to do certain things, like trying to fix things, always checking up on people first or putting people first over me, and all of those things that I'm unlearning now as I am almost going into adulting and all of that stuff. So yeah, in this conversation with Sarah, I kind of had my own moment of just healing and understanding that pursuing is not bad, withdrawing is not bad, it's just part of life, but also ensuring that I communicate how I'm feeling, no matter what the situation is, to people that I can trust in the moment, no matter what has been going on. So I just wanted to interrupt the viewing because I know a big chunk of it I'm going to edit it out, but I also feel like I don't ever want to be like you guys aren't going to listen to this because none of your business, but that could be something that you need that could help you. So I'm not going to like do that, but also I just don't want to share what I shared because I was just like, hold up, wait a minute, this is not going to be edited in. So yeah, but this part of me talking to you guys will be edited in. Obviously, I don't have makeup on, just me looking like me all the time, but because I just came from school. So I had to just, like, I'm editing right now. I'm like, I need to give you guys something. So understanding that being a pursuer, being a withdrawer, not a bad thing, but just learning to communicate and to find safe environments where people can love you for who you are, accept you for who you are, but not allow you to stay where you are, but also allow you to do the work to process the things that you're supposed to go through. So that's one thing I learned from when we had my personal mini therapy session. But yeah, enjoy the next part of the video where we talk about relationships related to like family, what you do with when the dynamics have changed, like when you're married, when you have to deal with people when you're growing in your business, and all of these things. So it's not just focused on romantic stuff or like friendship stuff. We also went into the aspect of business relationships, like what happens when you start growing in your business, what happens when you start shifting into like your identity, all these things, all the good stuff. But I needed to just put something here so that the video could at least be an hour, because y'all know I love talking and I could really sit here and talk, but I gotta edit and do other things. So yeah, okay, on to the video.
Bodies tell us is that if we lose a close attachment relationship, what does that feel like for us? What's going to happen to us if we lose the closest people in our lives?
I'm gonna be alone.
Yes. And there it is, everyone's biggest fear in life. Do you feel that?
I'm scared of being alone.
Yeah, we all are. Every single one of us is afraid that we're going to be alone. And you know what? Our bodies are actually wired to have that fear, because that's what keeps us in relationships and that's what keeps us alive. Could you imagine being out in the wilderness with no one and nothing? What would happen to you?
Oh, I'll lose my mind. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you die.
Like, who's gonna take what? No thanks.
Exactly.
This pandemic has been enough. Like, I'm kind of tired.
Yeah, right? That's why the pandemic has affected us so much.
Yeah.
It's because we feel so alone and we're just not designed or evolved or whatever you believe in, but we are not created to be alone.
Mm.
And so we have this instinctual fear that says, I can't be alone. And if I feel alone, I'm going to die. That's what our body feels, right? That's that terror. That is that deep-seated sadness and fear. And so the coping mechanisms and the strategies, the attachment styles are all ways to avoid that feeling.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. I've just always had that fear, like that I'm gonna be alone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like, and whatever happens in the situation, like, I think I always had this idea that I I can't do life with someone because I don't know, sometimes people are intimidated by my greatness, and sometimes it's made me want to shrink. It's actually like very interesting, like how people just were intimidated by me or saw potential in me. And like to have that situation happen where it's like, okay, poof, gone. And now you're like, hold up. Was it me? What did I do? Like, am I working?
Uh-huh.
Wait, what? What? Like,
Yes. Yeah. And that's your brain trying to figure out what in the world happened, right? Why am I still ending up alone? And what do I need to do? I mean, you even said, do I need to shrink? Like, I will shrink just so that I'm not alone, because that's our body's design.
I've been feeling like that, if I'm being honest. Like, like I should do less, or just like, not because I was ever made to feel like that. Lately, I've just been like, I've been having these big dreams of things that I want to do like a year from now, or like not even to do with shine your light or anything, just for me personally, because I have to exist outside of this. Like I can't just be in this box. And a part of me has just been like, let me not do that, because running shine your light. Let's leave what we were talking about behind. Thank you for answering questions I really was praying about. We figured that out. Thank you, Lord. But like just like running shine your light, like I'm realizing more and more that this journey does get lonely. Like people like going to university and being in the UK now, like for since 2020 I started my first year, and it was during the pandemic. So I'm originally from Zimbabwe in Africa, and like I obviously I started online. I came to the UK this year. I just finished my second year because semesters at university is just interesting. I'm almost done this degree, so I'm just grateful. But just like and running shine your light and doing university life now, sometimes people actually don't understand, like I have to record this stuff or edit this stuff, or that I'm running a business and I have to figure out like assignments at the same time. I have to figure out, like with my shine your light course, I have like 7 or 8 people I'm mentoring and helping and all of these things, right? If you want to join, you can still join. We have places available, so link in the bio, link in the description box though. Sorry. But like but it's just been wild to like know that some people won't understand that. So if people don't always understand that, or sometimes you just have to go like I know you're talking about relationships, but just like family or friendships, and you're like just going into deeper waters within yourself and your career or in your life. Like, how do you balance between shrinking and not wanting to be alone? What do you choose? Do you choose to shrink, or do you choose to not be alone?
Well, here's the question. How are people experiencing you?
Okay, well, actually having therapy now.
Well, and not just for you, but for everyone. Is it that we have to shrink Or is it that people are having an experience of us that's telling them that they don't matter to us? You know, I'm too busy for you. I have this business that I have to run. I have all these things going on. And so the question is, what's that communicating to people in our lives? Because if it's saying, you know, hey, friend, you don't matter to me, then they're going to go to that fear, right? Okay, if I don't matter to you, then you're not going to want to be in a friendship with me. And so I'm going to be alone. And so I'm going to either pursue or withdraw. And likely it sounds like people withdraw. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then the more we press them, the more we say, you know, well, why didn't you want to hang out with me? Or why didn't you want to do this? Or then they're like, whoa, I'm being attacked. And so then they withdraw further. Not saying that's your situation, but just giving a hypothetical situation.
Yeah.
And so this dynamic, this negative cycle plays out in all of our relationships, just more prominently in our close relationships, because those relationships matter the most to us. And so they're too scary to lose. And so the kind of attachment styles flare up the most.
When you say close relationships, so in the context of a marriage, that's like extremely close because you guys are like together all the time, never leaving each other's sides. And then outside of that, then your children, then your marriage lies, your children, then your family, then friends. In the confines of a marriage, how does that play out when you are just a newlywed and you've been married? You just got married and now you can't prioritize the friendships you used to prioritize, or you can't see your family because you're visiting your spouse's family, or you have to split that. How do those dynamics work? How can people become aware of that and learn to, like, for any person that wants to get married in the future, me, but like, how do you navigate through those feelings, those emotions, but especially with family? Because I think that's one thing that, like, everyone has had to deal with, especially during this pandemic where we're far away from our families, and now we're now coming together. And we probably now had a new dynamic. And now how do we communicate? Okay, I had a baby in lockdown, and these are my new roles and responsibilities. This, and that. How do we communicate that in a healthy way? Maybe I just did right now. I don't know. You tell me.
I just did. I think you just did. Letting people know what's going on for you. And the thing is, we just don't want to attack other people or accuse other people or blame other people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so how do we navigate, for instance, like you gave the example of being a newlywed, right? And you have two families now that you have to go visit for Christmas. You have to split the holidays. And so how do you share your desire with your partner? And then how do you come to an agreement? And then how do you share that with your family in a way that doesn't make them feel like they don't matter to you? You know, we really want to spend as much time with both families as we can. But unfortunately, we'll only have a certain amount of time to spend. And so we're going to have to allocate it in this way, you know, and if they get upset, is just leaning into that. You know, I'm hearing that you're upset. Can you help me understand why you're upset? You know, what's your fear? That we're not going to spend enough time together. Of course, that's a fear, right? Then our relationship's going to grow distant. Yeah, I'm afraid of that too. What if we do a trip, you know, in the middle of the year, or you guys come out to see us and we get that quality time together because you're important to me. So it's all about making people feel valued and like they matter to you as you're making decisions. And then the kind of the term in EFT that we use a lot is just the idea of connection. Is how do we connect with people instead of disconnecting with people? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But it comes with being vulnerable.
Yeah. What's the definition of vulnerable?
Just making your needs known, sharing what's going on for you.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than saying, you know, I'm upset because you did X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, I'm hurting, and my fear is that we're going to be disconnected, or that you aren't going to want to be with me, or, you know, actually letting them in on what your personal experience is and what's going on for you in your body.
Mm-hmm.
But you first have to be in touch with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where therapy can really be helpful for people who have never had that experience or ever been taught or modeled that in their life. Is let's get in touch with your body. Let's get in touch with what triggers you. What trauma have you experienced that tells you that the world's not safe and that other people don't care about you? Because you have to know that, right? Because then if you don't know that, you're going to get re-triggered and you're going to get upset and mad, and you're not going to understand why. You're going to think it's the other person, when in reality, it's all about what's going on internally for you.
Mm-hmm. So that's great. That's awesome. That's good. I'm just like, I'm taking it in. I'm like, okay, this is great. This is awesome. In what am I saying? So hypothetically, this is a very hypothetical situation, nothing to do with me or my life. We're not using me as a case study right now. No. Let's
No more tears.
no tears. I'm good. I've cried enough tears for a lifetime. Let's say you are in a situation where your partner triggers you. Not your partner triggers you, but you get triggered by something that your partner says. How do you communicate that what you triggered me, what you said triggered me, and how do you now as a unit deal with that? Not just like, yes, there's an individual work I have to do, my partner has to do to heal and all of that stuff. But what do you do as a unit to attack that and to ensure that the relationship is always a safe space, no matter what triggers we have, no matter what things we thought we were healed from, but we actually aren't? Or like the truth about life is that things are going to happen. Like the pandemic happened, people died, there's things have just been heightened. Like it's been a lot. So it's not that even if I deal with my triggers as an individual now, like what tools can I use when I'm now married, when I'm now in a relationship, like in a friendship with my family members, and things are just happening. Yeah, what can you tell us? I'm excited to hear what you have to say. So yeah.
Okay, so I love that you pointed out, yeah, we have to get in touch with our bodies, but my favorite thing to do is actually to do couples therapy and do that individual process with your partner there. Because as you learn about yourself, what we do is we let our partners into that space, right? So I'll be working with you, and let's say your spouse is there, hypothetical, right? And so your spouse is there, and we'll uncover something for you, right? In that situation, I got upset with you and I got triggered. But what actually happened is that my body took me back to a time when I was 7 years old and I was abandoned. And all of a sudden, I felt that same fear that I'm going to be abandoned. You're not going to want to be with me. And so what happened is that on the surface, I got upset with you. But underneath, I got really afraid that you don't want to be with me. And if you don't want to be with me, I'm going to be alone. And do you see how vulnerable that is?
Why do I want to cry in this? My makeup.
Okay.
I'm okay, but I personally am like afraid of being abandoned.
Yeah, makes sense. So many of us are. And all of us are afraid of either being abandoned or rejected. It's just a matter of how heightened that fear is, because your body only remembers your past experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if your body remembers that it's been abandoned, it depends on the level of abandonment that it's felt. Because you can feel abandoned even if you're being dismissed by someone, right? But dismissal is not going to feel most likely as heightened as if you physically were abandoned by a mother or a father and they no longer are life, right? That's going to be incredibly heightened. And so we have to get in touch with that. And then we have to create a safe space in our relationship to where that's safe to share. And the key is that it's not your partner's doing. That when you get triggered, sometimes it is because we have attachment wounds in our relationship. So for instance, when someone cheats on their partner, that's an attachment wound. And that was the partner's doing, quote unquote. But then we actually have to backtrack and see why they even cheated. Because what was the relationship that made it threatening for them to where they didn't feel connected and they wanted to go outside of the relationship. Right. And not to make an excuse for cheating, but just to understand it fully.
Yeah.
And so the key is that it's not your trigger is not your partner's doing. It's what's happening inside of you. But in that, how can your partner comfort you in that space and reassure you to say, you know, I won't leave you. I won't abandon you. I care about you. You matter to me.
I really felt that you really meant that. Thank you. I'm a words of affirmation girl and quality time. So I think for me, it's those things that affirm me. The words. Sometimes not even. I know people are like, actions speak louder than words, but I'm like, words are my actions. If you just tell me you're gonna do something, I'm gonna put in my calendar. No, genuinely, I will put in my calendar. I'll be like, you said this on the 5th of December. Here are the receipts. Okay. And but like when I hear those words, I'm just like, okay, I can calm down. But sometimes it's like when I don't hear that, it's like
it's scary.
It's like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, what are we doing?
Yes. Yeah, because those words are just that reassurance.
Can I ask you something? Why do I need reassurance? Because I've been seeing that, like, sometimes it's not even what people do. It's literally when they say, I've got you. I'm like, cool, I know. Okay, cool. But like, it's people's words that like, why do me specifically, I'm speaking for myself, why do you think I need reassurance? Because I'm just like, why do I need reassurance? I'm just asking for me, not asking for a friend. I am the friend.
Well, let's talk about the opposite of reassurance.
Yeah. What's the opposite of reassurance?
A lack of reassurance. How does that make you feel?
I want to scream just even hearing that. I'm like, that is so nice. I'm like, no, thanks. No, I don't feel good.
Yeah, because what's scary about that? If you have no reassurance,
it means I can't trust you.
I can't trust you. I don't have you. I can't rely on you.
I can't depend on you. Like, if you don't tell me what's going on, I'm in the dark. I'm
in the dark. Yeah. And so I wonder if it gets back to that same fear of I'm alone. I don't have that reassurance. And so somewhere along the way in your life, you learn that reassurance equals safety in the relationship. Does that make sense? And that's how you feel connected. Is it's if you reassure me, I feel safe with you. I feel like I matter to you. And so then I'm not going to be alone. And so we all need either, a combination of reassurance, comfort, safety, love, respect, all of those things, but some are just more heightened for individuals. So reassurance might just be the heightened one for you.
Mm-hmm.
That says that means that I'm here to you.
Interesting. Okay. That's interesting. Because I was always wondering, like, why do I need like reassurance? Because I just want to know, like, like I know people say actions speak loud, and of course, like I'm not gonna be blind to someone's actions, but it's just like just words are just I just feel safe. I just feel like you said you got me, you have my back, I don't have to stress. If you can hear the washing machine, I'm sorry, life.
You're good. Okay. I do have another session actually at 1:00 that I'm meeting with a client. Okay. So what's your last biggest question?
Am I okay? Am I okay? Am I good?
You are human. Everything that is human is okay.
Okay. Sorry, one question. How do I get over be someone watching, how do we get over the feeling of alone? Like, does it ever go away? Or how can we like live? It doesn't. Okay, great. So why are we here? It never goes away. It doesn't.
Well, I guess, okay. It never vanishes because that's what actually keeps us in relationships.
Oh.
So it's actually what drives us to reconnect with people. And so what I talk about is befriending the fear and actually being in touch with it is, I am afraid of being alone, is owning it. But you can only own it if, like you said, am I okay? Is it okay that I have this fear? Absolutely. Every single person on planet Earth has this fear of being alone. And so all of a sudden, if we can own it, then when it shows up, we can just say, oh, hey, fear, there you are. Thanks for showing up.
What are you doing? You want to sit down? Go ahead.
Yeah. And so then it's, what do we do with the fear? Are we going to get angry and upset with people? Are we going to withdraw and kind of go into ourselves? Or are we going to let people in on it and be vulnerable? Because if you want to truly dissipate the feeling, not get rid of it, not banish it, but if you want it to dissipate, then you have to let people in on it. You have to be vulnerable and get that comforting response that says you're not alone. You do matter to me. You are important. And then all of a sudden, like you said before, when I get reassurance, I stand tall.
I heard, not gonna lie, when you were saying that, I was like, yes, I'm look at me, I look cute, I dress up, I'm loving on myself. I am not running away from my feelings anymore, even though I was a couple weeks ago, but that's not the matter. I'm here now. I am amazing. And so are you. So you're like amazing. Because you're so cute and calm. And I'm like, I felt that. When you said those words, I was like, I am important. I am a queen. Here's my crown. It's just,
you are. And that's, we need to hear it. It's nice to hear it from a stranger, but it's even better to hear it from someone we love. And that's what we're lacking in this world.
Yes. So if you guys love someone, if you guys are with friends, family, whatever, tell them you love them. Tell them they're a queen. Tell them they're amazing. Reassure them. Don't make them miss you be like, am I amazing? Just be like, you're amazing. They'll be so excited to hear you guys say that about them. Because some of us are tired. Yes, I'm retreating away and I'll probably come back to but anyway, for this moment, I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out. And you know where I live. No, you actually don't. I moved. But you have my number. DM, shine your light. I don't know. Anyway. This This was amazing. You have to go. This was amazing. Thank you so much. Any last words before you leave? Because you have to actually go in like 4 minutes. Yeah, any last words?
I just enjoy talking with you. This is what I do for a living, and I love talking about it. And I just appreciate you having me join you.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Oh, this is perfect. This is amazing. I needed this. I really did. And yeah, you have a meeting to go. Let me stop this. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a beautiful day. Bye.